toxic masculinity.
Beware, common traits of toxic masculinity include toughness and self-sufficiency.
Yes, common traits.
Common traits.
Common traits of
Did I
what is
say?
it? Toxic masculinity?
Did I say it wrong?
No, you said it perfect. Yeah. Common traits of toxic masculinity, guys. Contain. Watch for it. They may include toughness and self-sufficiency. So, be afraid. Be very afraid. Up there, we got Valeria in there. I'm gonna move your thing slightly if you don't mind. Boom, boom. You haven't been here so long, everything's messed up. All right, there we go. So there's this article out that's come out. It's about toxic masculinity. This is written by, an SJW woke leftist. As you can tell by the image she chose for a toxically masculine male, she picked possibly the most beta picture of a guy I could possibly imagine. He's got...
You mean because he's got
the top
button up all
buttons.
the way up?
Yeah, like a British guy, which is fine. If you're a British, they do that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're weak or pathetic or beta, but most British guys probably are anyway. But Britain isn't exactly like the home of the toughest guys on the planet. But yeah, if you're an American, do not button the top button. I mean, this is like a millennial thing. I don't know. The guys that I see do that are guys that are they're not exactly gonna win a bar fight. You know what I mean? And he's kind of like looking longingly out the window. I mean, I'm 99% sure this dude's gay. I mean, this is not the picture of toxic masculinity, except, and the woman who wrote it, let's see, the woman who wrote this article, this is her. Yeah, I'm sure she's just an expert on masculinity, this one. Sure you are, lady. Sure you are, lady. Anyway, so she wrote this whole hit piece on toxic masculinity and how we can get rid of it. Rape culture. It's not a thing. There's no such thing as rape culture. What is rape culture? Yes, in America, there's this massive culture of all of us guys going, hey, you know that chick last night? Totally raped her. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. Everyone in society recognizes that rape is a bad thing. Nobody in society, there's no rape culture, you stupid woman. All right, but anyway, but she's listed these common traits as if they're harmful or bad or somehow negative, right? Mental and physical toughness. You don't want that in a man. Watch out for those mentally and physically tough gentlemen. That's terrible. Aggression, which controlled aggression is actually very good because there are bad people in the world, and you need them to back the F up. And if you don't have an aggressive male with you, they're not going to back up. What are they going to do? They're probably going to mug you. Stoicism, or not displaying emotion. Yeah. Controlling your emotions, ladies, that's a terrible thing. What you want to be with is a man that cries. That's what you want. You don't want anybody who's stoic. You want a guy who expresses his emotions openly, like an actor. What happened? My toes got cold this morning. I didn't have time to put the avocado on it. Sexy, isn't it? This is what you want. What you want a guy. Heterosexism, or discriminate against people who aren't heterosexual. No, that's not true. Toxically masculine men such as myself, we do not discriminate against people who are heterosexual. We just think that we're more alpha than they are. I'm
watching this.
We do think that's a good thing, by the way.
Watching this Russian-speaking YouTuber. Mm-hmm. He posts videos every day about news and stuff. He's from Estonia.
Uh-huh.
He lives now in Poland. He travels a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a gay guy.
Mm-hmm.
Every time when there is a thing about gay guys, sometimes he's talking about his personal experience, and he was like, I hate those gay guys who act like a pussies. He was like, be a man. I'm a gay guy. I'm a minority. I'm Jewish. I'm Russian-speaking guy from Estonia.
Yeah.
Be a man. That's what I want. Gay guy talking that be a man. Otherwise, I'm not attracted to you.
Yeah.
You know.
Russian gay guys are more masculine than American millennial men.
I have a gay friend. He's from Ukraine.
Yeah.
He doesn't like all of those lipstick, whatever heels, transgenders walking on the street. He was like, oh my gosh, It's like,
Yeah, no. Actually,
you
your
know?
best friend in LA is a gay dude. My best friend in LA is a gay dude. And I think both of them are more masculine than a lot of like younger.
Do you know my hairdresser guy?
Yeah.
Like the big
Yeah,
masculine.
oh, I know him. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
We're gonna go to a party with him soon. I
Yeah,
think,
he
right?
has a
Yeah,
birthday
he has
in June 1st.
Yeah. The gay dudes that we know are they're as toxically masculine as anyone. Let me
Yep.
tell you. Well, let's see here. So this heterosexism stuff, no. Yeah, there's a lot of beta guys in America. A lot of them are gay. We have a problem with the beta guys. Doesn't matter if you're gay or straight. If you're beta, that's kind of being weak, right? And everybody looks down on that. If you're a man and you're weak, nobody respects that because everybody expects a man to have a certain level of toughness, mental and physical toughness. These are good traits. Then she writes self-sufficiency. How is that a problem? I don't even know how
Can
to
you
address
explain what
that.
is self-sufficiency?
You don't have to rely on anyone or be dependent on anyone else. You rely on yourself.
So, I don't understand.
No, I don't understand either.
It's the thing that you want,
Of course.
especially
Yeah.
if you're like,
Yeah.
what is this? Feminist?
Feminist. Yeah, feminists really think self-sufficiency is
Yeah.
incredibly, and independence, right? So yeah, this woman is an idiot, I think, is the point we're trying to make here. And then emotional insensitivity, and I think that is true. That's something that guys could work on. That's something that I think is, yeah, you can take a picture of the cat. All right. That's something guys could work on. We could be a little bit more emotionally sensitive to the women that are in our lives. I'm not always, that's an innate attribute, though, I think, of men. I don't think men are naturally emotionally sensitive. I think most men have a problem recognizing how their wife is feeling, or that's just a natural trait of ours. It's nothing. It's not like culturally we've decided I don't want to recognize when you're sad. No, that's just something that happens because, I don't know. I guess that's the part of men that make us a-holes. And yeah, we try to work on it. We try to deal with it. Nobody wants their wife to be sad or upset and for us not to cop onto it.
Except Russians.
Well, I think even Russian guys would prefer to understand, But the thing, like, this is where all the comedy comes from in those old sitcoms where, a woman would say, like, I'm pissed off at you. And the husband says, why? And she says, well, if I don't know, I'm not going to tell you. And the guy's like, all right, I don't know what the hell to do about that. That's a common thing with men and women. And that doesn't come from a cultural problem. That comes from just our nature. But then here's the thing. So also in the news recently, I found this, which is a story about manly men, aka toxically masculine men, make better dads. The same traits that the left attributes to toxic masculinity, this study has shown from out of, I think it's Ohio State University, shows that men with these attributes make better dads. So, I mean, this is just like scientific proof that us toxically masculine men are awesome. So, but let's read this article. Manly men make better dads, study claims. Manly men with typically masculine traits may be better fathers, a new study has claimed. Researchers from the Ohio State University found that, and by the way, these researchers, they're scientists, right? Like, you know some scientists, I've introduced you to some. They're not exactly the most manly of men. A lot of scientists are kind of
Intelligent.
beta, right? They're intelligent, and some of them probably are very masculine, but most scientists I've met kind of low on the masculinity scale, right? So I doubt they were trying to find this. Whenever you find somebody who has a vested interest in finding the opposite of what they found in a research study, that to me, that adds a lot of credibility to the study because these people weren't looking for this. Mm-hmm. Researchers from the Ohio State University found that characteristics such as competitiveness and adventurousness were linked to being better fathers to infants. Speaking of adventurousness, I don't know if I mentioned this to Valeria the other day. We're planning on going to Hawaii in July, and I have a really good friend that lives there, and he mentioned to me that in the valley behind his house, you remember the valley behind his house? Where he lives, that beautiful little valley with all the forests and everything. He says that back in those woods, there's the locals go pig hunting. They go hunting for wild pigs.
That's cool.
And I was like, we got to do that.
No.
and my buddy was like, well, you can. I'm not going. And I'm like, come on, pig hunting. How cool is that? So we may end up doing that. Let's see here. It actually says scientists are just a little strange, kind of like engineers. Well, I'll tell you what. I know a few engineers. The few engineers I've met are actually pretty cool dudes. They're actually pretty tough guys. They go like rock climbing, and they're cool guys. But maybe that's an odd thing. Maybe that's just a thing from my own personal experience. But anyway, let's have a look at this. Where was I? Where was I? Did I go down too far? No. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Competitiveness and adventurousness. Let me read this again. Researchers from the Ohio State University found that characteristics such as competitiveness and adventurousness were linked to being better fathers to infants. While these traits are often seen as old-fashioned male stereotypes, the researchers say that they can result in more positive parenting behaviors. Professor Sarah Shope Sullivan, who led the study, said, if fathers can preserve the best of these stereotypically masculine characteristics without the negatives like hostile sexism, that would be good for families. But you see, the problem is they didn't go in and find that the men who had these characteristics also had some kind of negative hostile sexism characteristic. She's just making the assumption that hostile sexism comes along with that, right? Because she's a researcher. And, I'm sure she's a leftist. I'm sure she's a Democrat. And they all have this view of masculine men being, hostile sexists. So she throws that in there. Like, if you can be a masculine man, but you got to cut out all the negatives, because they have this massive assumption that we're all these, cavemen a-holes grabbing women by the hair and forcing them to have sex with us, and then demanding that they, wash our clothes down by the river using a washboard. Yeah. No. You don't use washing machine. You use washboard down by river. I am man.
My dad kind of said it to my mom recently, but
really,
because I remember I sent a package to Russia and some stuff.
Yeah, we sent a bunch of crap.
And I sent my dad like t-shirts, like a good brand, like Calvin Klein, that you would
American stuff is like kind of precious in Russia.
It's like if here you can buy a Calvin Klein t-shirt for $15, in Russia with all of these taxes and brand, it will cost $100.
Right.
So I sent him like 5 t-shirts, different good
and
quality
not only that,
brands.
But we have like outlets and stuff we can go to.
My dad said, my mom, you are not washing these t-shirts in a washing machine. You are manually washing because it's so precious for him right now.
Yeah,
I'm like, Mom, I'm so sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's send him a couple more Calvin Klein t-shirts so that he doesn't have to worry so much about it.
That's what I said. I was like, Mom, I'm so sorry. She's like, no, I do
10.
some of my stuff also, like hand washing stuff.
Yeah.
She's okay, but
Delicates.
It's just hilarious,
That is hilarious. I love it. Okay, so let's have a look here. So let's move down here. The manly traits, the typical masculine traits linked to better parenting skills were, in the study, the researchers analyzed highly educated men in dual earner couples to see whether having typical masculine traits improved their parenting skills. Professor Shope Sullivan said these men are combining traditional aspects of masculinity with new nurturing ideals to create new fathering identities. No, you stupid bitch. No, I don't care.
Stop.
New nurturing ideals? Okay, this is assuming that men haven't been nurturing since the dawn of time, all right? A lot of men are good fathers and have always been good fathers. There's this ridiculous stereotype that in like the 1950s, every father was just like ignoring his children and like, ha, you stupid children. You will go obey your mother and leave me to do the man work. And well, I'm sure that happened occasionally. I actually think that kind of happened with my dad's father but that's because they had 7 kids in the family, right? And
How
my
many?
dad was number 5. So by the
Wow.
time my dad was born, I think my grandfather was a little overwhelmed with kids. So I think he just kind of like let my grandma deal with the kids, and so the later kids didn't get as much attention from their father as the sort of the older kids. I think that does sometimes happen a little bit, but this idea that the new fathering ideals, come on, give me a break. They may be in the midst of transforming fatherhood. No. I hate this assumption, this belief that men were always horrible throughout time, and it's only now that we're starting to wake up. We're all woke now, and we realize that masculinity is terrible. No. Your study shows what we've been telling you for years. Don't add to it your bull crap. Okay. The men completed questionnaires during the 3rd trimester of their partner's pregnancy, asking them to rate on a 4-point scale on 7 typically masculine characteristics: competitive, daring, adventurous, dominant, aggressive, courageous, and standing up to pressure. How would you say that I rate on any one of those? Competitive, 1 to 10. How competitive do you think I am?
How what? What word?
Competitive.
I don't know what's this competitive.
Likes to compete and win at things.
You what, from 1 to 10?
Yeah.
10.
I don't think that's true.
True.
I've calmed that down a little bit in my old age. Daring. How daring am I?
Daring? Like how dare are you? Is
How
this?
dare you? No, it's like if there's some kind of dangerous thing, what is the likelihood I'll jump in and do it?
10.
I don't know if that's true, but yeah, I'll take it. Adventurous.
10.
Okay. Dominant.
10.
11. Come on, let's be honest. Aggressive.
10.
Courageous.
10.
Standing up to pressure.
10.
I win, ladies and gentlemen, and that is how you get a wife. Boom. If you don't have 10s in all those areas, at least create the impression that you do, that you are 10 in all of those areas. Okay. The men were also asked how they agreed with 11 statements, including feminists are making unreasonable demands of men to assess a negative masculine trait, hostile sexism. Feminists are making unreasonable demands of men is not hostile sexism. That's just true. I mean, you're a hostile sexist if you think that feminists are awful. No, they just are awful. That's like looking at an 8-ball and saying it's black. Oh, this 8-ball is black. Well, you're racist. No, it's just black, you stupid idiot. Not you, obviously. You're absolutely lovely, darling. Don't kill me. Maybe I'm not as courageous as she thinks. All right. Let's have a look at this. Okay, so meanwhile, to assess their nurturing father role beliefs, the men were asked to rate how much they agreed with 9 statements, including men should share childcare as bathing, feeding, and dressing the child. Well, the thing is, like, I do think that most men will do this when they're around. Mm-hmm. Like, I would say, what would you say about John? Would you say that my brother John is about as masculine as me? We're pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And yet, whenever his kids are around, yeah, he'll change the diaper. He'll do all the same stuff as Marcy's doing. Mm-hmm. But if they're quite young, obviously my brother can't breastfeed the kid. So there's obviously something...
not literally. But some dads, when moms are not around.
Yeah.
I saw the video when the dad will put like a paper mask of their mother picture.
Yeah.
His wife picture, and put like a bottle with the thing like under his shirt, so the baby will look like, oh, it looks like my mom. Okay, I'll eat.
No, I don't think the baby can tell the face. Maybe the baby can tell the face, but I would imagine that it would tell by the smell. Can.
And they will put their wife's shirt. Yeah.
Oh, the wife's shirt. Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe that. Okay. Well, that's pretty weird. I don't know. I would just let the wife do it, guys. But yeah, once it gets old enough to bottle feed, yeah, I'm sure the dad bottle feeds the kid. I mean, my sister's husband, he carries the kids around most of the time when I see them all together. Because the guy's stronger. Of course, he's going to carry the kid around a lot of the time, put him on his shoulders. feed the kid, bathe the kid. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's a shared responsibility for most parents. But the thing is that a lot of times if it's a stay-at-home mom and the dad's at work, he's not going to be taking care of the kids, anywhere near as much as the mom is. That's just a matter of like time management. Finally, the men were asked whether they thought men or women should provide the majority of the income for the family. 9 months after the child was born, the researchers watched the fathers interact with the babies both by themselves and with the mother. Each father was rated on their positive parenting behavior and on how well they co-parented alongside the mother. The results revealed that the more men said they fit with the stereotypical definition of real men, the more they were rated as good parents. That is so great. I love that. However, those who showed high levels of hostile sexism were found to have worse parenting skills. But I'm curious what this signs of hostile sexism is. I'm curious as to what that means. I don't know what that is. Maybe they'll explain it. Let's have a look here. Unsurprisingly, men who believe that they should have a nurturing father role were also found to be better co-parents. The fathers who see themselves as competitive and adventurous and with other masculine traits tended to really engage with their kids. They were not checked out. While the reasons for the link remains unclear, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. We're just being men. And there's this like push in our society to not be men. And when you try to be something that you're not, I think that it messes you up. I think that's all that it is. I think that's what it comes down to personally. And also if you're a stronger and more, you're a stronger person, you're more confident, and you don't have to go around and try to prove yourself and like, I don't know. I think it has to do with being a genuine person and focusing on the right priorities and being a phony. I think these guys who are like beta males, I think they're phonies. And I kind of saw this when I was a little kid, right? When I was a little kid, I was probably 7 years old, I think. I like girls, right? I wanted to sit next to the cute girl in class, and I like to be around the girls. I wanted to hang out with the girl, the cute ones anyway. And I would fight other guys to sit next to the cute girl and stuff like that. What are you doing? You texting? You got bored about my story?
No.
I want you to take your phone. I want you to put it in the toilet. I want you to come back. There's a last show. The last show.
I know.
Can we not text on the last show?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. What is it?
Text it to you.
No. What's being texted?
To you.
Oh, you're texting me. What is it? Oh. That is not appropriate. All right. Well, anyway, what the heck was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I thought girls were cute. I like girls. I like to sit next to girls. I like to fight the other guys for the attention of the girls and stuff like that. What was the point of this? Yeah, and then there was one boy who I think also liked the attention of the girls. And I remember at one point he had like this picture of puppies. And I remember he said something like, "Oh, look, girls, it's so cute." And all the girls came around him and they were like, "Yeah, it's so cute." I remember thinking to myself, like, we're guys. We don't look at puppies and go, "Oh, they're so cute." And I recognized that this was some kind of a ruse, like a scam to get the attention from the girls in class. I remember even at age 7 being put off by this significantly because I was like, this guy is pretending to be kind of girly so that he can hang out with the girls, right? And I think that's a strategy of some men. I think some men have this strategy of, instead of trying to get attention from girls by impressing them, they want attention from girls by relating to them. And I think that when guys do that, I think it like kind of messes them up in a way, right? They become these sort of phony, girlish guys. And I think sometimes girls do that too, right? Sometimes with tomboys, these girls act guyish because they want to hang out with guys, because they want attention from guys. And then guys will sometimes act a little girly to get attention from girls. I don't think this is... I think it's a little healthier of girls acting like a tomboy. I don't really see much of a problem with that. But a guy acting like a girl, I don't think that's a good idea. I think you should discourage your boys from doing that. Yeah. I've never seen anybody that I was like friends with or close to doing it, but I've seen other guys do. I think it's a bad idea. let's see here. The reason for the link remains unclear. The researchers suggest that men who use traditionally masculine characteristics at work may also be trying to find ways to apply them to their jobs as parents. Professor Shope Sullivan added, these dads may be saying that being a father is an important job too, and I'm going to use the same traits that help me succeed at work to make me a successful father. These researchers highlight that the fathers in the sample were highly educated and had partners who also worked, and the findings may not apply to all fathers. Well, obviously. Yeah, look at this guy. He's obviously a model. That's not his kid. That's the picture they use. This guy is more like a normal dad with his probably his real kid. All right. Well, I am done with that story. Do you have anything to say about that?
No.
What do you think about masculine men versus feminine men? I remember when you came to America, you actually mentioned to me that like you didn't expect to find any masculine men in America. You thought they were all going to be basically like Democrats, and you were shocked. And I think I said, well, you never dated any Republicans. You never met any Republicans because we're in LA. No comment?
Well, I wouldn't want like a too masculine like Russians guy because they're just an a-holes.
Yeah.
So you need to have something not in between, but I don't know how to express.
Yeah, I do think the whole toxic masculinity thing, like actual like masculinity that is something like abusive or something like that, that
because
kind of
what they mean, it sounds like Russians,
Right.
but not Americans, because Americans are way better than Russians.
Yeah. No, I do think that there is that tendency for some men in the world, but I think that's very specific cultures. I think Russian culture has a strain of that's kind of virulent, of masculinity that goes overboard for sure. And actually, I think black culture in America to some degree has that, where it's like, you got to be really tough and be disrespectful to women. I remember I went on somebody's podcast once, this black guy from Detroit, and the first question he asked me, because he wasn't really familiar with white culture. He'd lived in Detroit his whole life. He'd never really met any white people till he moved to LA. So he wanted to pick my brain about white culture and the differences between white culture and black culture. And the very first question he asked me on the show was, so do white men refer to white women as bitches? That's what the first thing he asked. And I was like, what? No, like generally? What are you talking about? And everybody else because we were in like a professional recording studio, and everybody else in the studio was like kind of chuckling. And because it was such a bizarre, cultural difference. And the guy says, okay, well, if you don't call them bitches, then what do you call women? Did you say women? Like, what do you say? And I thought about it for a second, and I go, well, usually I just refer to women by their names. And everybody in the studio just starts dying laughing because it's such a different cultural thing, right? And I actually do think there's probably something toxic about the levels of aggressive masculinity that you will find in, say, black culture in America or Russian culture, something like that. But generally in American culture, there's nothing toxic about masculinity. Masculinity serves us well and obviously makes us better fathers. Well, that's what I have to say about that. The end. Would you like to read the next story, darling? You look terrified. I'm not gonna keep screaming at you.
I'm not terrified.
Well, you look terrified.
Well, it's just how I look.
That's just how I look. All right.
Federal court strikes down race-based bailouts.
Right. This, to me, is a pretty fantastic story. Federal court strikes down race-based bailouts. Well, the thing is, like, recently there's been this slew of executive orders and bills and laws that the Biden administration is trying to push through to like help out black people, to help out people of color. And the problem with that is that they are neglecting white Americans. Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.